So those are a big handful of Flash games that I played from my childhood. I loved these games, and it's great to go back to them every now and then. Of course, there is still a lot more Flash games out there, like all of the, childhood programming Flash games like Cartoon Network and such. But if you guys want me to talk about that, just let me know. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So what were your guys' favorite Flash games as a kid? Did you play these at home at a friend's house, or did you play them at school like you weren't supposed to and then the teacher caught you? Like I did. Well, speaking of Cartoon Network, let's just check on the website and make sure that it's still there. Okay, looks like it's still up there. Of course, I can't expect all of the Flash games to still be on there, the ones that I used to play. But hey, at least the website is still here, and it'll still be here when I come back. Okay. So, after a long couple days of chasing koalas just to get off my lawn, let's go ahead and play some Flash games from Cartoon Network. Why not? I mean, Cartoon Network is kind of a big part of my childhood. Like, yeah, I was a Nickelodeon kid every now and then too, maybe some Disney Channel, but it just depended on what was on for me. But I had a lot of fond memories with Cartoon Network shows. So, let's go ahead and get on the computer, go to cartoonnetwork.com like we just did a couple days ago. Max? The streaming service? No, that can't be right. I must have typed something wrong by mistake. That always happens when you type stuff really fast. Okay, let's try this again. cartoonnetwork.com. Okay, there we go. Max. That can't be right. That can't be right. Why would it direct you to just the streaming service about Cartoon Network shows? That's not possible. Oh, here we go. See, look, games, right there. What? No. This can't be true. No. No! The future just keeps changing. I don't know what's going to happen now. First, the Cartoon Network website goes down, and now what's next? Huh? Well, to hell with it. I'm just going to stay in this closet from now on and just hunker down for the rest of my life. I don't need computers. I don't need Flash games. I don't need technology. Well, maybe just this. I hate spiders in the dark. So, I'm just going to stay in here. I don't care what happens to me. But, I guess the reason why you were watching this is because, well, you wanted to see more Flash games, right? Yeah. I did talk about that briefly at the end of the last one, didn't I? Suppose I might as well give you what you came for, huh? So, I guess we should. That and my back hurts. And it's kind of hard to breathe in here. Alright, let's play some more. Well, I suppose we could go ahead and look at some of the Cartoon Network games that I've played, and maybe a couple Nickelodeon and PBS Kids one as well. So, thankfully there are some websites that do preserve and, keep some of these other Flash games. So, I guess we'll look at that. Mainly some of the ones that I've played before. So, just like how I showed you in my previous video talking about my favorite childhood Flash games, I'll be showing some Flash games from various kids' cartoon programming channels. Of course, I'll be starting with talking about Cartoon Network. One of my favorite shows back when Cartoon Network was still cool at the time was Adventure Time. Adventure Time was incredible in its first couple seasons, and I always looked forward to watching new episodes when they were out, every Monday, along with other various shows like Regular Show, The Amazing World of Gumball, and such. The animation looked amazing and colorful, and of course, me being a kid, I always watched it for its crazy animation and fart jokes. But as soon as it started getting more serious with Finn's dad and the Lich and all the lore and backstories and origins of characters and all the dramatic moments, it was just less funny and I just began to lose interest. It didn't help that it moved to a different day at a different time slot, so of course I completely lost interest entirely and moved on with my life. I guess I was just maturing like how the show was. Yet I bought the complete series on DVD. Still haven't watched it all the way through. The weird drama era is just so boring. I'm sorry. Anyway, of course, with me being a big fan back in the day, I played a handful of their Flash games. Now, it's only fair that... Oh, jeez. I forgot I even had this thing. Well... anyway, what was I getting to? Oh, yeah. Let's start off with Righteous Quest. It's just a typical platforming game, nothing too special. You can throw snowballs at enemies and Jake can carry you across different platforms, either by flying across or stretching up to a higher platform. He can even do a large range attack to all enemies on the screen, as long as you have one of the 3 Jake icons at the top left. So you can attack pixies and other weird enemies, like on level 2 you attack these weird looking ninjas that look more like blue hot dogs. In both levels 2 and 3, you have to get the red and blue keepers to unlock the doors at the end of the stages. But you really don't have to, you can just go through the doors and you'll pass the stage. Some glitches can be pretty cool. Then you move on to the Ice Kingdom attacking snow creatures. Also, the ground is very slippery here and sometimes it's a pain to try and attack enemies. Afterwards, you enter a boss battle with the Ice King, which is a bit tedious, but after you beat him, you win the game. And believe it or not, it has a sequel. Huh? What badges? Oh, right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so just like how Newgrounds games had like some achievements, like, you know, like on Xbox 360, how you get achievements and points on your account or something like that. I think Cartoon Network tried to do that at one point, but I don't really remember a whole lot of them. I think there were like maybe select games that did that, help you earn badges or something like that. Yeah, I don't think it lasted long, and quite honestly, I don't think anybody remembers that or even cared. Anyway, Righteous Quest 2 isn't too different. The same animation and sprites are reused, but you do get to fight new enemies and even gain new power-ups over time, like a sword to help you get through these vines. But if you collect or attack all the needed items on each stage, you go to a new stage. And you can get an invincibility power-up that helps you break through large crystals if you find a chest. For the final boss, you fight Marceline, which is way more tedious than the Ice King. But with patience, you beat her and you win. One game I didn't care for much was Sound Castle. It's almost like Space Invaders, but you click on the correct colored buttons coordinating with the right enemies while you hear several annoying sounds from the show that go off when you click them.
All aboard the Do you know what ice? Let's get this party started. All aboard the Knuckle Train.
I'd rather be dead.
Let's get this party started.
Yeah, see why I didn't care for it much? The same can be said for its sequel too. Why was that necessary to be made? Anyway, moving on. Remember those flying games I previously talked about? Well, Jumping Finn was just like those. The further you progress, you can get upgrades to get even further. If you manage to get to the Ice Kingdom, you rescue Princess Bubblegum and you win. Unless you want to continue infinitely. Pretty fun game, honestly. One last game from Adventure Time I remember playing was Jake's Tough Break. It's a basic puzzle game that's not too bad. You can remove Jake's limbs in order to go from one place to another and to get the Magic Man's hat to move on to the next level. It doesn't work as well as it did because every time you remove a limb, it lags a bit. It did get a sequel too, but replacing Jake with Cake the Cat. The only difference is some of the animation style, and even the hat can run away from you without some puzzle solving. So it's pretty good. One thing I should mention was a small video creator that Cartoon Network had called Video Mixit. It was pretty much just a small video editor where you could use different cartoon show clips to merge it into one, like different characters interacting with each other. I didn't have much luck trying to see if it was preserved, but I did find a couple images of it. Let's move on to Regular Show games. Just like Adventure Time, Regular Show was also just as big for me as a part of my childhood. Yes, the show that got away with saying,
"But he's gonna be pissed!"
Benson's gonna get pissed, so we shouldn't. You pissed me off.
The first game is just a regular game. No, literally, that's what it's called, just a regular game. It's a collection of 3 games. The first one, Put the Hurt on Him, lets you move a trampoline to launch Rigby to put the hurt on Beef Burrito. When you hit him, you randomly get the chance to earn extra energy if you miss, extra time on the time limit, and you can obtain boots, a baseball bat, and boxing glove to earn extra points if you hit him. The second game, Escape to the Moon, is pretty self-explanatory. You just use the mouse to avoid obstacles and click to jump. One thing that may have been added that I really don't remember was the rocket launcher. The third and final game, Destroy the Destroyer, has the game switch you out between Mordecai or Rigby to throw objects at the destroyer, while a go-kart heads towards you. Once the cart makes it towards you, the video game dude you control shoots at burgers to destroy the destroyer, and once you defeat him, you win. Escape from Ninja Dojo was another one I played, but not too much. Unfortunately, it doesn't work as well as it used to. Just like Jake's Tough Break, it lags, but this one does it really bad. On the other hand, Night Marathon works great. You use the mouse to move Mordecai to aim at oncoming zombies, and you can click to throw objects to kill them. If you hit the spacebar, Rigby can hit the zombies with a stick. You can also obtain power-ups like discuses, bombs, and javelin. Ride 'em Rigby is just okay. You use the mouse to click to jump or double jump to avoid obstacles, and you can use the spacebar to duck into tubes. Other than that, that's about it. Let's move on to the Amazing World of Gumball. Honestly, it's quite a creative show. So the first game, Schoolhouse Rush, which sounds a lot like Schoolhouse Rock, is a simple platformer. You can't do any attacks, only when Darwin is summoned he can break boxes and help you jump higher. On the second level you're underwater and you just try to avoid enemies and other obstacles. The third level is the same as the first level. Once you beat the stupid easy boss fights at each stage, that's it. Sheesh, that's way too short of a Flash game. Splash Master is also a simple enough game. You click with the mouse at the right moment to do a swan dive, and then you use the mouse to collect coins to avoid objects, and click again at the right moment to do a cannonball. That's about it. This next game, Blindfold, is actually pretty decent. It's a simple puzzle game where you play as a Nais, and you help pick up objects for Gumball and Darwin to jump over. The goal is to get both of them to run into each other without getting them hurt. It's not too bad. Suburban Karate Master was another one I liked. You use the arrow keys to jump and duck to avoid hazards, and you use the spacebar to punch enemies. But for whatever reason, since this was the version I remember, this one was actually a bit hard to find for me, because most of the common ones that pop up was this version, where you use the mouse to swipe up, down, or right to do any of the actions. What is this, a mobile game? Because it's not. That is a horrible downgrade. Anyway, let's play a couple games based on the Total Drama series. The Drop of Shame is a decent one. You can only play as two of the characters from the show, but you fall down to your doom, unless you can grab one of the balloons or an umbrella to drop it safely. But if you hold on to any of the heavy objects for too long, you crash land. Yeah, not a bad game. Now let's try Toxic Targets. It's kind of like Angry Birds by launching the Meatballs app. It crashed. Great. Let's just move on and talk about a couple LEGO Star Wars games I remember playing. One I can't even access is The Quest for R2-D2. This was based upon the short animated film that I loved watching back in the day. From what I remember, you can play as either Obi-Wan, Anakin, Asajj Ventress, or Count Dooku. It's nothing like the console counterpart games, but you can attack enemies and collect crystals and destroy objects. I remember playing this game a lot way back when, but it's a little fuzzy trying to remember them. The other game, Ace Assault, was actually a pretty cool one. You start by choosing a character, or you can make your own. Let's try to make myself here. There we go. Now we select our ship here, and then we load to the... Oh, for the love of... Never mind. Anyway, basically you choose a ship and shoot down the opponent's ship. One cool thing I do remember is that if you watch the other animated movie, Bombad Bounty, there are a couple cheat codes hidden throughout the movie if you pay close attention, and you could type in that code to get characters or ships. That was very innovative back then. Okay, let's move on to some Nickelodeon games. Now, SpongeBob was always my go-to show. The one that I remember playing was The Flying Dutchman's Dash. You can play as SpongeBob, and if you die, you can also play as Patrick in a Mario-style platform. The only power-ups you can get is this pufferfish attack or this jellyfish attack that's similar to the fire flower. The controls are a bit slippery, but the game's alright. Sadly, that's the only SpongeBob Flash game I recall ever playing, which is kind of shameful of me because I'm a huge SpongeBob fan. I mean, it was a big part of my childhood and my life. So, I wonder why I didn't play any others. Anyway, remember the show Cat Scratch? On this game, This Means War, it's similar to Worms. You can choose between the 3 different cats of the show, and you can have a variety of different weapons and tools to help you defeat the other cats first. A donut bomb, paper airplanes, a water gun, and you can also barricade yourself, and you can even move to different places with a balloon. If you're at low health, you can choose the Kraken to deplete a randomly selected character to half their health. But of course, it can happen to you as well, so use with caution. This was a fun game, but it's better when there's other people playing it with you. I guess we should also address a couple Ren and Stimpy games as well. One I remember the most was the Crazy Cannon. Yep, just like all the other air launching games, so it's pretty self-explanatory, but I still think it's fun. The other one I vaguely remember was It's a Gas. So you have the ability to help Stimpy block his farts to trap Ren from getting any air. Yeah, not much else to say. From Wow Wow Wubsy, I remember playing Wubsy's Amazing Adventure when I was really young. But looking back, this game is pretty lame actually. It's just another platformer, but you have 0 attacks or any way to attack any of the enemies. You can get a helmet that makes you invincible for a short period of time, but you only get that twice in the game, at the beginning and at the very end of the boss fight. So you're just painstakingly walking to the goal while jumping and avoiding robot eggs and robot baby chickens. Even the boss fight is pretty lackluster. Geez, I guess I wasn't too choosy with my games back when I was little. Okay, let's change channels to PBS Kids. I remember playing a few games from the website, but let's stick with Arthur just for this occasion. Alien Assembly Required was one I really liked playing. The intro itself is very spooky and suspenseful. Not sure who approved it, but it's very creepy. But anyway, you can just create your own aliens by clicking and dragging different body parts, or you can let the computer randomly make you pre-made aliens. You can even have the option to print out the newspaper. I remember doing this a couple of times. Buster's Movie Maker was probably the game that helped me become an aspiring filmmaker. Anyway, you listen and watch Buster's pre-made movie, but you have to re-edit the audio and video cues to match up with the movie's theme. But for whatever reason, the voiceover is very quiet compared to the music. It's kind of hard to hear.
Arthur and his friends were working on Arthur's birthday. Enchanting sound outside.
Don't Wake Kate is just a basic memory game. You use the arrow keys to try and help DW get 9 glasses of water instead of getting her butt to sleep. But if you make too much noise, it's game over. Okay, well, I think that's enough Flash games for one day. I just had about enough. I still can't believe that the Cartoon Network website just takes you to HBO Max. Or, sorry, Max now. God, that is such a dumb name change. I'm sorry. But, well, at least it's not like that dumb trend where, someone obviously on Twitter overreacted thinking the hashtag Rest in Peace Cartoon Network meant that the whole channel was shutting down, which it wasn't. It was about someone just doing a hashtag of what was your favorite show that's now canceled. Had nothing to do with the channel shutting down. But apparently, the website here in the United States did. Wait, what about the other countries? Let's see. cartoonnetwork.co.uk. What? The UK is normal? What? Okay, how about Asia? Let's look at that. What? Asia's fine too? How does that make any sense? Okay, how come the other countries didn't get... What is this? Cartoon Network HQ. Really?